Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You can be seated. Thank you to Ione Dyer, Kevin Gentner, Claire Haneke, and Andrea Herniak for singing the national anthem. Could we give them another round of applause, please? I also want to take a moment to recognize our band under the direction of Mr. Dorn and Mr. Kasparik for providing music before the program, as well as the processional. Welcome to the Monona Grove High School 2017 Commencement. Parents, grandparents, family members, and friends, we appreciate you being with us today to recognize the class of 2017 graduates. We're proud of what these students have accomplished individually and collectively. They've achieved at high levels in the classroom and rounded out their education with additional experiences in music, theater, athletics, and other co-curricular activities. Students know that high school graduation is not the end of their education. Rather, commencement symbolizes a transition to the next stages of their lives. We're confident that these students are well prepared for the next part of their journey, and on behalf of the administration and teachers, wish all the graduates the very best in their futures. At this time, I'd like to introduce the senior class officers, Mason Sponham, Zach Garritti, Ione Dyer, and Kim Mave, to present the Maeve, to do the class welcome and the poem.
Hello, Monona Grove, class of 2017, family and friends. Welcome to our final step of childhood and our first stride into adulthood. My name is Mason Sponham, and I am our senior class president. Before we commence the graduation ceremony, I have some words I would like to share with my fellow classmates. Truly, we all have no clear future ahead of us. None of us will be able to map out and fulfill our life goals perfectly over the next several decades. As we all know, life is complicated and never presents anyone with a clear route. I personally have felt some anxiety about these uncertainties from time to time, and I have always felt a fire to do something about it, for I see all these problems that we as a generation are going to at least have to put a fight up against. I'm talking about issues like the deterioration of our beautiful natural resources, managing the inflating number of refugees throughout the world, and even trying to find a solution for when Social Security runs out. These issues are all daunting to say the least, and sadly, these are just the pinnacle of the world's problems. I honestly find myself thinking about these issues a lot, placing pressure on myself to be the change I wish to see in the world. And as I look at all the faces before me, I am humbled to know that we are a great number of high-level thinkers. Because of this, I am sure you too are familiar in my feelings of desire to solve these issues, to make the world shine once more. When I become old, I know I will not want to consider my life as one where I wasted the opportunity to better the world. However, I also know that as these issues are growing, making them much more difficult to maintain as they near a power that will soon be too great to combat. Like I said, I had trouble with the situation, but a little while ago, I transformed my mindset about the future while watching No Country for Old Men, and I am sure that many people here have seen the movie. At the very end of the movie, Tommy Lee Jones, the sheriff, is sitting down for breakfast, discussing a dream that he had the night before. In this dream, the sheriff rides through a mountain pass on horseback through the freezing weather, darkness, and snow. Along the journey, the sheriff's father rides past his son on another horse while carrying a fire and a horn as they did years ago. Although his father passed him, the sheriff knew his destination and followed his father. Upon arrival, the sheriff was welcomed by a small, warming glow of fire amid the darkness. Both the movie and the dream have had profound impact on my perspective. The dream is saying that our life in our world is darkness. Our lives will always be riddled with tremendous problems, such as the ones I mentioned earlier, leading us through eternal chaos. The movie supports this idea by a constant stream of complete destruction. As we continue through this world of darkness, the dream instructs that we all need to do is create a fire with enough warmth for those around us, those we care about most, just as the Father did for whom he loved most. Once again, I used to think we had a large amount of pressure to overcome the difficulties of our generation's toughest problems. But problems have always been present in our lives, always are present in our lives, and always will continue to be present in our lives, always evolving into a new form. The movie helped me realize that all I have to do, all we have to do, is spread warmth to help those closest to us, whether it be one person or 50. If we can help them to achieve fulfillment in their lives, our world will glow a little brighter. With all of us just creating embers in the world of darkness that we face each and every day, our future will begin to shine. I want to thank my classmates for letting me serve 4 years as your class president. I have truly enjoyed my time as an MG student, and I wish us all the best luck in the future. Thank you. We will now announce our class poem.
Waiting, waiting for the school bus, hardly able to withhold a fuss. The mass of school looms over us, everyone hoping they will adjust.
As we grow like the wizened trees of old, enduring the wrath of Wisconsin's cold, those around us hope that with what we behold, we create better lives for others as our lives unfold.
While learning some English, math, history, and science, we ran all around with small acts of defiance. Our thoughts, when are we ever going to apply this? But soon our complaints had all turned into silence.
Suddenly we reached a turning point in our lives. The obstacles overcome help strengthen our drives. The knowledge acquired makes all of us thrive. With it, our destinies, our futures, our caps all arise. Thank you.
Zach, why don't you stay up here on stage? You guys can just sit here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zachary Greedy, and I am the Senior Vice President. I'd like to thank you all for coming to this year's commencement ceremony. Throughout high school, we students have been taught by dozens of teachers who have helped and had a grandiose impact on our lives. One teacher in particular, Mr. Anderson Goldsworthy, has done a superlative job making students such as myself feel welcome and inspiring to learn. As both a math teacher and a coach of the volleyball team, this magnificent man has sprouted within our lives a benevolent light, a light which will continue to shine and illuminate our futures for years to come. We are all so thankful for his generosity and accessibility and smile, and have deemed him our teacher speaker. I'd personally like to thank him for his dedication to being such a responsive teacher and coach, one that we will all truly miss. With great honor, presenting the first tag talk, I present you all with Mr. Todd Andersons-Goldworthy.
Well, when I heard class sizes were increasing next year, I didn't know it was going to be quite this extreme, but here we go. Thank you, good afternoon. It's such an honor to be a part of this special day, so I'd like to start by thanking the senior class of 2017 for including me as a part of it. When the senior class officers first asked if I would speak at graduation, my first thought was, really, you want me to speak? Let me explain that reaction to hopefully offer some perspective. This year marks the end of my third year of teaching. For all of you guys sitting in front of me, this is your fourth and final year of high school. While the senior class may feel they have learned things from me throughout their time at Monona Grove, I too have done some learning. From the moment I entered this building, each and every one of you made me feel welcome. You have consistently showed me what it means to be a Silver Eagle. I came in pretty comfortable in Carolina blue. Go Tar Heels. But throughout our shared time at MG, my definition of pride for the color has strengthened. When I started to think about what I would say today, I first decided to consider why the senior class would choose me to begin with. My first thought was, oh, they must want another lesson on the quadratic formula. I quickly talked myself out of a math lecture, realizing it wasn't right for the occasion. My next thought was, maybe they think I'm funny. But my mom would probably just say, well, looks aren't everything, so. Plus, there's a pretty small audience that actually enjoys my painful math jokes. You know who you are, Kevin Gentner. After that, I remembered how basically every other day I get confused for a student. So maybe in some weird way, the senior class felt like I was one of them. Going along those lines of being young, I settled on the following explanation. Only 7 years ago, I found myself in a seat, just like all of you, graduating from high school and wondering what the next, less calculated move would be. Since that day, I've moved across the country, studied abroad, graduated college, and started my career. To an outside observer, it seems as if I almost have my life in order. I'm flattered that you think I've got it figured out. While I certainly don't have all the answers, I will try to impart as much of my infinite wisdom to you as possible over the next few minutes. I will do so by sharing a list called Mr. AG's Do's and Don'ts. At the end of each semester in pre-calc, I share this list with my students, many of whom are graduating seniors. While some items are goofy, some have a more meaningful message, all are based on experiences that have shaped my life. I normally just read the list, and that's that, but since this is a graduation speech and all, I figured I'll add a few more details in as necessary. So in no particular order, here are Mr. AG's do's and don'ts. Don't forget that ice cream can fix anything. A bad test score, a bad breakup, a bad hair day, anything. And if ice cream isn't your go-to, there's always pizza. Do make time to have fun. There's a saying that goes like, if you love your job, then you never work a day in your life. Now, I'm not sure this is actually true. Don't get me wrong, I love teaching, but there are plenty of days that it feels like work. So if you don't allow yourself the time to also have fun, then what is all of that work even worth? Don't worry about eating alone. It will feel incredibly awkward at first, but it can be a nice mental break from everything. This applies to anything from eating to going to a movie, listening to live music alone. Do plan a trip, even if it is to the next town over to go ice skating. The biggest adventures can come in the smallest packages. This next one is for anyone who has more schooling ahead of them. Don't worry if you get none of the classes you wanted. You are freshmen, and it will take you 3 years before registration day does not cause tears or extreme anger. When our parents went to school pre-computers, registration used to be a mess. Students would need to run around campus and physically sign up for classes on lists their professors would post outside their class. Nowadays, registration is all online. It's a completely smooth process. Every year, the website crashes right when you try to click register. Or you set up the perfect schedule, and 5 minutes before your slot opens up, 3 of the classes you want are full, and you're back to square one. One perk of not getting the exact classes you want is that you will take something that surprises you, and maybe even pushes you out of your comfort zone. Who knows, maybe that one course you didn't plan on leads to a change in your major or even your future career. All right, enough about school. For those of you that like Snapchat, just know that out in the real world, Snapchat won't be blocked. So we've got that going for us. Since we all snap so much, here's a don't related to our favorite app. Don't screenshot too many snaps. I mean, that should be obvious. The whole reason I'm snapping this weird picture of myself with dog ears and a tongue sticking out is so that there's no record of it 7 seconds later. And then you have the audacity to screenshot it so it lives forever. Screenshots can divide friends, so just be cautious. On a more serious note, do keep in touch with your high school friends, but don't let that keep you from enjoying where you are and the new people you are with. True friends will still be there, even if you lose touch for a while. To accomplish this, do live in the moment. Be present in everything you do. It's easy to regret things from your past or fear things in your future, but challenge yourself to suspend those worries and just live. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether in school or in life. We all need a support system in order to thrive. This next one is pretty simple. Do you. There are very few times that you are given a fresh start in life. As I always tell my incoming freshman students, the start of high school is a unique time where you can decide the person you want to be. The same thing can be said of when you leave high school. Whoever you were, whatever you may have done, can be left behind, and you can morph into a more refined you. Maybe you change your study habits and work extra hard at a subject that you are passionate about. Maybe you try a new instrument or a new medium of art that has always interested you. Maybe you finally get the courage to come out of the closet to your friends and family. Whatever it may mean to do you, only you can do you. I'm gonna do me, you guys do you. Okay. Do things outside. What do I mean by outside? Let's perform a partial fraction decomposition. Okay, for all you non-math nerds, let's break this into 2 pieces. First, do things outside of the box. Don't ever get too content with comfortable, for it's when we push ourselves through new experiences that we allow ourselves to grow the most. The second meaning is the literal one. Do things outside, as in outdoors. Try hiking or camping, plant a vegetable garden, or simply go for a walk. As I look back of all of my memorable experiences, almost all of them took place outdoors. Don't stop fighting for what you believe in. Even if it seems like the cards are stacked against you or people aren't playing by the rules, stick to your beliefs and stand up for what you know is right. Do sing karaoke at least once with a group of friends and have fun making complete fools of yourselves. The embarrassment is fleeting, the memories are forever. Don't forget to celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how big or how small. So now, I would like to practice my last don't by helping you, the class of 2017, celebrate this huge accomplishment. 4 years, 5,400 hours, 324,000 minutes, 20 million seconds. That's a lot of Snapchats. No matter what units you use, the time you have dedicated to MG has left an immeasurable impact. Congratulations, class of 2017, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, choir and Ms. Naherniak. And at this time, Maeve Kim will introduce our commencement speaker.
Less than a week ago, we unfortunately lost our guest speaker, which sent us, your 2017 class officers, into a slight panic mode. Luckily for us, our speaker today graciously filled in for us at the last minute. As a New York Times best-selling author, one could say we hit the jackpot. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this year, Tom Farley.
Awesome. There we go. Dear Twitter, I'm in a room full of people wearing very funny hats. Oh, sorry. All right, I'm only supposed to speak here for 45 minutes, so actually Maeve said 15 minutes. Silly Maeve. You gave a microphone to Farley with an audience. This is not... all right, so let me tell you a story. Back in 1996, you guys weren't even around. 1996, I was a cocky Georgetown grad living and working in New York, working on Wall Street. I thought I was, just the king of the world. Wore a suit and tie to work every day. Kid came around periodically to right to your desk and shined your shoes, and it went to your head, and it was pretty fun, at least until my younger brother rolled into town and started working on Saturday Night Live, and. But I still, it was still Christopher. It was just a knucklehead younger brother. I was still the king of New York. So I get a call one day, and it's Chris. He had just finished his stint at Saturday Night Live and started working on movies out in L.A. So he rolled into New York, and he gives me a call and said, Tommy, I'm in town. Let's have dinner. I said, great. I said, where are you? He said, I'm just down the street, staying at the Waldorf. So after work, I walked down Park Avenue, still feeling like the, master of the universe, and walked in Christopher's suite. He's got a nice big suite, and there's another guy in there. He goes, Tommy, just give us a second. We're talking about a movie. Just kind of hang out. We'll get to dinner in a second. I says, all right. So I sit down and started looking through a magazine. I kind of look up, and every couple of minutes, and Chris and this other guy are just kind of looking at me. I'm like, that's kind of weird. So I just kind of mind my own business. A couple more times I look up, and they're still kind of eyeballing me. And I ignored it again, and I just started reflecting on, what happened. Chris was just this, knucklehead. I was like always, toeing the line, always meeting expectations, and Chris was stumbling over that line and making friends. And life with Chris was crazy. And he was always pushing my buttons. Man, he annoyed me. We were altar boys growing up, and we were saying it was a big Easter Mass. It was at St. Raphael's, not there anymore, burnt down. And we're big, the bishop's there, a bunch of priests. And back in the day, during Catholic Mass, there was a point where you had to ring a bell. And, of course, Christopher and I, with, the severe ADD that we had, were, kind of looking around the place, totally lost track of the mass. In the middle of it, I hear this, Tommy, Tommy. I go, oh, I start ringing the bell like madly, and every priest looking at me like, what are you doing? A good 5-minute jump. I was, way ahead of the time. And all I hear next to me is, got me. And he would do that, could you imagine sharing a bedroom with this guy? Chris Farley? I mean, back then he was still Chris. And I was a senior, he was a sophomore, and that was just tragic. The times I did muster talking to a girl in the hallway, it never failed. I would see, coming around the corner, there's JoJo the clown boy coming toward me. I'm like, and he never failed to disappoint. He'd walk by me, hey, Tommy, you went to bed again last night. Mom's gonna be really mad. It's like, really? Really? That's what I had to deal with. I had to drive Chris to school every day, and I drove a neighbor friend of ours who I kind of liked, and was too afraid to ask her out. But she'd be in the front seat, very quiet little girl, and himself in the back. Every week, never failed. Huge fart from the back seat, followed by, oh, Susie. And Susie would be like, that wasn't me. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror. It's like, dude, you better run when this car stops. I'm going to kill you. I mean, that just went on and on and on, So, and my friends would laugh at him. I'm like, don't laugh at him. He's a jerk. Stop laughing at him. I'm my little brother. So, it was tough. He was always pushing my buttons. So, anyway, I'm back in this hotel room. And after, it's just kind of dazing off, reflecting on all this stuff, and I kind of look up, and Chris and this guy are still looking at me. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? Chris starts laughing. He goes, he goes, Tommy, I'm sorry, I'm doing this movie. I'm playing this knucklehead, obviously, younger brother of this guy that is this politician that's running for the governor of the state of Washington. Ended up being the movie Black Sheep. And this producer came in today and said, we got a little problem with casting. Chris goes, what do you mean? It's like, well, we're having a real tough time figuring out what the serious, uptight older brother of you would look like. And that's when Chris said, oh, I'll have him over here in 5 minutes. That's when he called me to have dinner. That was life with Chris. It took me years to kind of get over that, get over myself too. But I wrote, as Maeve said, I wrote a New York Times best-selling book. I don't like to talk about that, but I wrote the book, a biography of Chris, and I collected stories from all his friends, from growing up in Madison to his college time at Marquette, and down in Chicago, starting his career, and then New York people at SNL and Hollywood people out in LA. And they all kind of had these great stories of this like wonderful kid who had a big heart, cared for people, and was just always there to help and just being himself. And I'm like, what? Really? And it really made me kind of realize who Chris really was. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And I came to this realization once, during that experience, and I'm like, here's this kid who was known for all these characters, and yet all he was doing was playing himself. And I was this guy trying to live up to this caricature of what I thought I should be, and I was struggling. And I just realized, Chris was loved, wherever he was, New York, LA, because he never forgot who he was. He was just this kid from Wisconsin. And it made me reflect on like who we are, I ended up moving back here to Madison, back home, and really got in touch with my roots. And I realized that that's kind of how we roll. We're really unique. We're not even Midwestern. We're Wisconsin. And it's a really cool thing. Whether you leave here today and go somewhere else or stay right here, keep in touch with that. I mean, it's really cool just to have that comfort level of being comfortable who you are and being who you are. I mean, think about the knuckle. Pick that up. Pick it up. Think about the knuckleheads down in Chicago years ago that wanted to, come up with some derogatory phrase for us here in Wisconsin. They started calling us cheeseheads. And what was our reaction? It's like, all right, we'll wear them on our heads. Whatever. That's who we are. And I realized once I started being comfortable with who I was and my Wisconsin roots, it changed my life dramatically. It was great, and hopefully I'm passing that on to my kids. But that's my message to you guys. Wherever you go from here, don't be like my little brother Chris. No, that's not true. Be like Chris. Be a Wisconsin kid. And wherever you go, people are going to like you for that. You look at just some of our sports people. They're just loved wherever team they go to. They're the guy on the team that everyone likes. There's something about us. So be true to that. Be who you are, and enjoy the journey from here. I really appreciate you guys having me here. I'm not as funny as Chris. I'm sorry about that. Remember, I told you I was the serious older brother. But anyway, congratulations, class, and that's it. That's it from me. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farley. Mr. Farley was also our commencement speaker for the class of 2006, and as Maeve stated, we greatly appreciate him taking time to be with us today. Parents, as we present diplomas, if you come forward to take pictures, we'd ask that you please stand off to one side or the other. On the edge of the bleachers, we have an area roped off, and please just make sure you're not blocking the view of other audience members. And reminder that we do have professional photographer pictures being taken up front. Members of the Board of Education, I confirm that these students have met the graduation requirements of Monona Grove High School as set forth by board policy. And I now present the graduates of the class of 2017 to receive their diplomas. Would the first row of students please stand and move to the ends of the stage? Would staff members who are assisting students handing out flowers and helping them to the edge of the stage please come forward? Mason Sponham, Zachary Garidi. Ione Dyer, Maeve Kim.
I have mine, yeah. Do you have your list?
Jordan Allen, Kaylin Andrews. Emerson Ankenbauer, Jason Armstrong. Alex Baldwin, Kyle Beebe. Serenity Beasley, Cody Bernardi. Michaela Burnt, Emma Bittner. Deanna Borkert, Travis Braley. Madeline Brown, Alexandria Brennan. Bryce Brennan, Nicole Buss. Ryan Butteris, Robert Byrne. Antonio Cabello, Kyle Sapu. Anna Kappert, Henry Carmen. Elizabeth Castaneda, Gabriella Castaneda. Sabrina Chisamore, Riley Christensen. George Christensen, Lauren Christensen. Teresa Cody, Sheridan Connor. Emma Cooper, Cassie Kramer. Maya Crockett, Duncan Crook. Annika Davick, Concilio Di Loretto. Noah Doctor, Tyler Dolan. Eric Dahl, Devin Donahue. Taylor Dunn, Peyton Dutcher. Sydney Eberhart, Alex Edmonds. Madeline Ellenbecker, Sarah Elmore. Yasmin Fauzi, Amanda Fiskus. Madeline Flanders, Peyton Flanders. Gabriel Fouts, Joelle Fry. Michael Foos, Addison Gaber.
Cassidy Gerathanis, Vincent G. Lombardo. Keaton Gill, Shane Gilligan. Paige Gisner, Gabrielle Junte Zamorano. Junte. Jesus Gonzalez, Cole Graffin. David Grindle, Andrew Grob. Ellery Gronsky, Jackson Grzybowski. Kevin Gettner, Oliver Gulig. Griffin Haas, Sean Hergenrother. Haley Hamer, Spencer Hampton. Christian Hendrick, Gina Hankey. Bradley Hanson, Gavin Harms. Justice Harness, Whitney Haride. Damn it. Cameron Hyman, Lucas Hepp. Mason Higgins, Emma Hermsdorf. Claire Haneke, Damon Hemke. Riley Hoy, Megan Hirschman. Tyler Hyatt, Ian Hooper. Joshua Eisenberger, Elisa Ibsen. Cody Jaworski, Haley Jacobson. Stephanie Catchell, Dylan Johnson. Bryce Kiner, Benjamin Keegstra. Mitchell Kelsey, Connor Keith. Anthony Klee, Nicholas Kimball. Sydney Klinzing, Willie Klein. Wyatt Kniffer, Madeline Knibel.
Audra Kosick and Lita Kraft. Lindsay Krull, Nicole Kretz. Adeline Kubitz and Frankie Langer. Colin Larsh and Tess Last. Kelsey Lee and Tufu Lee. Danielle LeMay and Colin Lenz. Kai Linsenmeyer and Svetlana List. River Liston and Mason Lochner. Zachary Long and Hallie Mogg. Isaac Mack and Jarrett Meyer. Michael Mant and Catherine Monty. Madeline Masters and Amanda Matusak. Samantha Mall and Casey McCoskey. Margaret McMillan and Samantha Meehan. Kylie Meinholz and Rebecca Manenga. Ashley Milanese and Catherine Miller. Maria Milos and Bailey Misfelt. Colton Morgan and Hunter Maroney. Noah Mumford and Andrei Naherniak. Elizabeth Nelson and Lexis Nelson. Zachary Nelson and Paul Newton. Nathan Ng and Jabin Nielsen. Bo Nolan and Tyrese Ostrowski. Carly Patton and Sharday Perkins. Kyle Peterson and Cindy Philippe. Gabrielle Pingree and Kaylee Provenzano. Elizabeth Pulvermacher, and John Rock.
Thomas Rathard and Matthew Reamer. Anton Reichenbach, Kylie Reuter. Rachel Revelinsky, Alexander Richer. Tiffany Reiser, Allison Rogers. Morgan Rogers, Kevin Ross. Samuel Runhar, Chad Sainsbury. Liza Salvi, Mackenzie Schreiner. Brett Schultz, Corey Sheldon. Annabelle Shear, Daniel Smith. Fiona Smith, Genevieve Smith. Hannah Smith, Samuel Smith. Kevin Spate, Kyle Steffen. Carly Stoik, JC Swigum. Adam Thompson, Jack Thompson. Emily Torblow, Ellie Trolson. Samuel Turk, Giovanni Urso. BJ Vang, Emma Weissen. Cody Vogt, Madeline Wacker. Graham Wagner, Grace Wallner. Delaney Walsh Courts, Dylan Wambach. Peyton Weaver, Austin Webb. Carson Weber, Blake Wesley. Tyler Winky, Sheena Yang. Tyrese Young, Jacob Zell. Michael Zelmer, Andrew Joe.
Parents and honored guests, I present to you the class of 2017.